This is where the real MVP is decided right now. Stephen A. Smith, Kawhi Leonard not only played 52 minutes and he was hurt and not complaining about it. He did it taking on the Greek Freak, taking the responsibility of guarding him. Forget about the fact that free up Siakam and all that, right? A mismatch with a mismatch anyway because he can roam now. He took on the most unstoppable guy going to the rim, held him to, 13 points? 12 points? He couldn't buy himself a point, the Greek Freak. Dropped almost 40, scored the last 8 points of double overtime to stop them from going down 0-3, series over, to keep them alive and defend home court. This is the heavyweight title on the line right now. In the East, it is between the Greek Freak and Kawhi. It ain't over yet. Let's see how this plays out. And the Greek Freak is working with more around him. But Kawhi Leonard is showing right now he is sitting on the Iron Throne right now. Maybe someone will bump him to maybe the Greek Freak gets him back. Right now, Kawhi Leonard, the best basketball player on the planet Earth.
I disagree. Kawhi Leonard has been sensational. I'm not trying to take anything away from him throughout the playoffs. He's averaging like 32 on 52% shooting and 39% shooting from three-point range. There's no question that he's been absolutely sensational. And his effort last night against the Greek Freak was something phenomenal because to Nick Nurse, I give all the credit in the world for making that adjustment, not changing the starting lineup, just taking Kawhi, one of the greatest defensive players this game of the modern-day era has ever seen, and putting him on the Greek Freak and neutralizing him. I think to some degree it exposed the Greek Freak because the Greek Freak coming downhill, what momentum at you? If you don't stop him from half court to that three-point line, if you don't slow that momentum, he gets the better of you. Kawhi Leonard did an exceptional job. But I got news for you. Even though he's not playing, he's not hurt. Did you know that Kevin Durant's averaging better numbers than Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs? He's averaging 34, not 32. He's shooting 52% from the field. He's shooting 41% from three-point range. He's not playing right now. To me, I'm not looking at it from the standpoint of I recognize the fact that KD's not playing right now and Kawhi Leonard
at the time KD got hurt, Kawhi had better numbers. Only thing KD had him was a couple points of scoring.
All I'm trying to say is that it matters because when I look at KD, the one thing that resonates with me, even though he's primarily a perimeter player, the efficiency is undeniable. And the reality is that KD is one of those rare players that you can look at. And no matter the circumstances, you can say, this is what he does. And so even if he's missed games, you're not looking at it like, oh, my goodness, he's missed, because that's just what he does. That's KD. So I look at it from that perspective. And I also look at it from the perspective that, again, KD has elevated his play defensively. In other words, I'm not trying to take anything away from Kawhi. All I would say to you is this. Kawhi is an individual that has to get to his spots to do the damage that he does. KD doesn't have any spots. I think he's a juggernaut offensively, and I will always go with KD over Kawhi.
Kawhi has to do this on a team without Steph or Clay. You say, well, he gets more touches that way. No, he gets more attention defensively that way. Think about that. Kawhi, at the time KD got hurt, apples to apples, was getting much more defensive attention than Kevin Durant, and yet putting up more efficient numbers on the offensive end. And you're right about KD. I'm not trying to down KD. KD deserves all the credit in the world for being a nearly perfect player. I mean, he developed himself into an elite defender. But there's a difference between elite and Kawhi Leonard. Kawhi Leonard is on a short list of greatest defensive players who ever lived, and he's playing that defense on Giannis while getting all the defensive attention himself, playing 52 minutes, hurt in a must-win game, and scoring the last 8 points in double overtime. Think about this. What was the question about him? Oh, you only shot 3 times in the fourth quarter the other night, and you lost in a game you guys could have won? He didn't make that mistake again, did he? The last 8 points in double OT.
Oh, he's something special.
Kawhi right now, it's not over, but right now he's sitting on the throne.
Stephen A., let me ask you this, because I was ready to book my trip to Milwaukee, but I'm not so sure anymore. You think the series is definitely over in terms of Milwaukee wins it all?
I don't think Toronto is coming back to win the series. I certainly don't believe. Listen, the Greek Freak had an awful game offensively yesterday, and Milwaukee still lost in double overtime. I think the Toronto Raptors will probably lose Game 4, and then Milwaukee will close them out in Game 5. What I will say to you, however, is that, and that's something that we'll get into later, I've religiously stated over the last couple of weeks that the Warriors needed KD in order to beat Milwaukee. I'm not so sure now. And we'll talk about that as the show progresses today and in the days to come.
I think the Warriors will have KD. If they have KD, they still probably lose to Milwaukee. I'll take Milwaukee over a fully loaded Warrior squad right now. They're a better three-point shooting team than the Warriors. They're a better defensive team than the Warriors. And they have a better player than anyone on the Warriors. I think the Greek Freak's better than KD. There's no such thing as much better than KD. It's a hair, but it's like that.
See right there.
Now,
right there.
Yeah.
I'm not even interested in this conversation.
Why? Because you're sure that KD is better than the Greek Freak?
No, of course. Of course.
Okay. Okay. That's why they played in the same league, but the Freak's going to win MVP. Right.
Oh, really?
That's why his team has more wins than KD's team, but KD's on a better team.
From Max Kellerman, who religiously pointed out how Michael Jordan should have won the MVP many years and how the best player doesn't always win the MVP.
Freak had better numbers than KD.
No. I'm only addressing what you said. You specifically just said that's why the Greek Freaks are going to be. Nope. You said that's why the Greek Freak's going to be MVP. But a month ago, 2 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, at least as of July 25th, it'll be 3 years, you said, quote, the best player doesn't always win MVP. So why did you bring up that argument?
Because he'll deserve the MVP.
Okay, all right, that's a different.
Now, and by the way, he's not done with Kawhi and them either. Right now, Kawhi's got the lead. I'm not sure Kawhi has the lead when this stuff is all said and done. I'm not positive the series is over.
Okay.
I think it's going to be extended, but you have to understand what Toronto just did. They're at home. Everything went wrong for the Bucks. Bledsoe, who to me is should be the sixth man on that team because he's explosive, but he has questionable decision-making at times, had a series of bad decisions. We've seen that from him in these playoffs at times, although he's a weapon. Everything went wrong from the Bucks. They couldn't hit a free throw. And yet it goes to double overtime at Toronto, with Kawhi needing every heroic that he can muster to barely win by the skin of their teeth. To me, that says the Bucks are too much for the Raptors.
Yeah.